Good day, two-wheeled commuter friends, and welcome to another MC Commute. Today's show is brought to you in part by Aerostitch. Aerostitch makes riding apparel for commuters and has been doing so for more than 3 decades. They also support MC Commute. So, to check out their whole lineup, go to aerostitch.com. On today's show, the mighty Multistrada 1200. Not just any Multistrada either, this is the 1200 Enduro, which is new for 2017. Gaggle of new parts, which we're going to talk about as we ride to the office today. What's stopping us, right? 3, 2, 1, go! Okay. We're stepping on the gloves here. We can talk about a couple things. One, the 19-inch front wheel. Wheels are also spoked, which is unlike a multi. This big honking gas tank, onto which I crashed when I was riding off-road, which is why it's all scuffed up. So that's my bad. Sorry, everybody. This is a pretty cool feature. Also bent from when I crashed, but rear brake lever adjusts for height. You can raise it when you're off-road for standing, lower it for on-road, and of course, these big honking bags, which are so wicked. Aluminum, they're Touratech bags, open from both sides, and they're frickin' brilliant. Let's do it. So first things first, with the Multi 1200 Enduro, the basics, you got your 1198cc 90-degree V-twin. It's basically the same motor that they use in the Multistrada, in the Diavel, in the Monster 1200, and the Multistrada was of course the first one to get it with the DVT. The DVT is variable valves. That's what it does. So it's got a little hydraulic system in there that adjusts cam timing as you ride, which is pretty cool. It's really cool technology. If you don't know how it works, look it up. So yeah, the old 1198 motor that's been repurposed now for all the touring bikes and cruisers and whatnot in Ducati's lineup, which is pretty cool because it's a hot engine to have in a Multistrada or a Diavel or a Monster 1200, because it's got literally has superbike roots. So yeah, pretty cool. Other notable features that the Multistrada 1200 has is the Skyhook Suspension, the semi-active suspension that adjusts while you ride, and you can adjust it while you ride. It all adjusts electronically. It's really cool. We're going to talk about that. And then this bad boy has got the touring pack, which will cost an extra couple $1,000 if memory serves. You get this nifty handlebar bag. You also get heated grips. You get a center stand, and you get those honkin' Touratech bags on the back that holds something like 85 liters of stuff. I don't know. A liter to me is like a soda or something, so it's like hard for like 85 sodas. I don't know. That's like, it's weird. To 85 liters is a tough way to classify it. Anyway, they're huge is the point, the saddlebags, and awesome, as I pointed out before. And in fine Ducati style, there are modes adjustable out the wazoo. It's got traction control, it's got ABS, it's all adjustable through this big old TFT dash, which is super nice. It adjusts, it gets darker at night, and it also has so many options. Yeah, I mean, whew. You can change the backlight when you go into riding mode. You can go in and adjust wheelie control, traction control, ABS, engine map, suspension settings, all within the ride mode. It's pretty wild. And what's really cool is that they all stick. All the settings that you adjust in those modes, so you can choose, well, I want, you know, such and such wheelie control and ABS settings in this mode and that mode, and you can basically tailor all 4 modes to do exactly what you want them to do. And then whenever you want to select them on the fly, you can just tap this menu button while you're riding, and this menu comes up: Sport, Touring, Urban, Enduro. Go down to whichever one you want, hold it down, and it selects, and you're off to the races. Evidently I've got ABS turned down in sport mode. So I'm going to put it back in touring. Touring's my favorite basic mode to start off of, because it's got pretty sporty suspension, full power from the engine, but the throttle map isn't quite as aggressive as it is in sport. One other thing about the Multistrada Enduro, the handlebar is 50 mil higher, and they did that so that it's more comfortable to stand up. So I can stand up like this, cruise down the road, and it's pretty comfortable. That was the idea anyway, to have it be like a little bit more relaxed and easier to stand on the pegs, which you might want to do if you're going on the off-road. One other electronic thing you can do is hold down the down button, and then this brings you to all of the suspension modes, which is pretty cool. You can tell it that you want you know, stiffer preload because you have driver and passenger with baggage. I like that they say with baggage too. It kind of makes me happy for some reason. One other thing I could talk about though is this windscreen, which I'll adjust later, but it's the old pinch and slide, that's what they call it, and it is freaking brilliant. It's one of the best windshield adjustment systems on the market in my opinion, and this one's a little bit different on this model than it has been in the past. It's got a little bit more support bracing, but still just awesome. So easy to use. I feel like this is where I usually talk about brakes, and there's red light, so I can talk about brakes. While I was talking about the front wheel earlier, you may have spotted them big old Brembos. Ducati typically does brakes right, and the Multistrada 1200 Enduro is no exception. Big old Brembo calipers, big rotors, good feel, braided steel lines, beautiful. As we leave this red light here, I'll sun a little bit. I mean, it's really where the Multistrada shows its roots, when you like pull away from a stoplight and give it full stick. It's potent, man. It's rowdy when you want it to be, and it's fun around town. Makes a nice V-twin rumble. It's cool. Really cool bike. Now we're sitting at a red light, and I've already talked about all the dash stuff. What else do I tell you guys? And we could talk about the oil service light. That's because it's gone past its break-in mileage. It's only at under 1,000 miles, but it went over its break-in thing, so it needs an oil change. But no worries there. Here's a little heated grip thing. You tap the button on top of the handlebar. Oop, green light. I'm going to turn it on just because I can, I guess. Tap the button on top of the handlebar and you get low, you go medium, high, just a toggle switch. It's awesome though. The heated grips are super underrated, by the way. People, lots and lots of people say, I don't understand why you'd want heated grips. I don't understand why you guys like them so much. It's kind of like, I don't know, like an escalator. You know, you see a set of stairs and you're like, what's the big deal? Like, I can go up the stairs. It's not a problem. Like, why would I want anything else? And then you ride an escalator and you're like, yeah, this is easier. This is actually a little bit better. It's kind of like that, you know? Like, your hands might not be cold, but when you turn on the heated grips, they're just, life gets a little bit better. I don't know what to tell you. We're passing a gas station, you'll notice, and passing gas stations is something that you can do a lot of on the Multistrada 1200 Enduro, because that big old gas tank that I was talking about before is seriously big. 7.9 gallons. I got a clean 300 miles out of the last tank. I was at 300 and something, and I still had a couple dozen miles of range left according to the trip meter. Yeah, I mean, right now range says 295, but I know that I can go probably more than that. I mean, 300 mile range is pretty cool. I mean, it's good if you're traveling, you know, if you're like want to ride across Canada or something. And as far as commuting, I don't know, it's just nice not to have to fill up as much. The Multistrada Enduro has a lot of range. It's got a lot of storage capacity. It's got a lot of wind protection. It's got a lot of features. It also has a lot of weight. I weighed this bad boy yesterday, and
Yeah, 610 pounds with the saddlebags off. The saddlebags weigh about 27 pounds. So that still includes the luggage rack and everything, but 610 pounds is a pretty big motorcycle with a full tank of gas. Granted, it's a lot of gas, but that's a lot of bike. What impresses me is that you don't really feel the weight very much when you hoss on the gas. Like, the bike still has pretty good stomp. All right, Multi, yo bang. Now that we're going 70 miles an hour on the freeway, I can tell you what was hopefully already pretty obvious, and that is that the Multi is really good at this. It will do this all day, 7.9 gallons at a time. It's smooth at freeway speed, good wind protection, cruise control. It's wicked. Yeah, but Zach, we know that the Multi's all dirty and dusty. We can tell that it's been ridden off-road, but how come you haven't told us what it's actually like to ride off-road? Fair enough. I jumped it on fire roads, I took it down rocky trails and whatnot, and yeah, I have to say, what I found riding the Multi off-road was that it's a lot like other full-size adventure bikes. I'm talking KTM 1290 Adventure or BMW R1200 GS Adventure, with big fuel tanks, big motorcycles, high horsepower. The Multi does have a nifty Enduro mode that takes it down to 100 horsepower. That helps when you're off-road because you really don't need all the full zoot 160 horsepower, whatever it is the Ducati claims for the Multi. It works pretty well, all things considered. Off-road, it's not actually a good dirt bike, but you know, none of them really are. None of the bikes this size. I mean, 600 pounds is a lot of motorcycle, and when you lose the front in a sandy wash, as I did, it's really hard to get back. And that's not really any fault of the bike or the design or whatever. It's just a huge motorcycle. And yeah, it has a wide handlebar, it has long travel suspension, but it's still, you know, it can be a handful off-road. That's not, shouldn't be any surprise. What I like about the Multistrada Enduro is that Ducati took that step, that extra step that the company needs to take to acknowledge that people might want to ride it down a dirt road. They might want to, you know, get it dirty, tip it over, that kind of thing. I think that really, that engineering step is a big one for the company to admit that, because in the past Ducati has said like, oh no, the Multistrada is a, you know, it's an adventure touring bike or it's a sport touring bike, but it's not meant to be dirty. Like, you can go down a dirt road, but don't get it dirty. Whereas the Multistrada Enduro is meant to, you know, screw stuff up. I like that. Oh boy, this bike's a lot of fun. Around town, as a commuter or just sort of like at low speed in general, the Multi handles really well. It's pretty light on its feet, considering it's not actually light on its feet. But yeah, it handles really well. It's direct. It is quite tall. And yeah, I mentioned that because I even notice it as being a very tall motorcycle. When I was riding it off-road, it was sometimes borderline intimidating. And I'm 6'2". It's a 34.5-inch seat height or 35-inch seat height, something like that. It's pretty tall. And obviously the seat height adjusts as the electronic suspension does. But it's a big bike. And I guess that kind of brings me to, I don't know, one of my final points about the Multistrada Enduro. I love that Ducati took that extra step to make the bike more dirt worthy and to acknowledge that people want that from their ADV bike. I love that. But if I was gonna get a Multistrada, I don't think I'd get the Enduro. I love the aluminum side cases. They're so freaking good. I love the extra gas. I mean, having 8 gallons of gas is freaking awesome. I love it. But I think I've ridden a 17-inch wheeled Multistrada on a racetrack, and it freaking hauls the mail. It feels like a tall sport bike. It's so badass. And this bike does give up a little bit of on-road handling for all the sort of off-road prowess, you know. I think if I was gonna get a Multistrada, if I'm gonna get a Ducati, I'm gonna get a road-going bike, you know. I guess what it comes down to is that the regular Multi's just, I don't know, it's just too good as a road bike to give that stuff up. I know, like I don't want the extra weight, or I don't know. Yeah, I would have to get the regular Multi instead of this one, even though I really dig the range and the luggage and all that jazz. It's also a pretty pricey motorcycle, the Multistrada Enduro. It's $21,500 bike, and then you get the touring packs, extra couple grand. You're talking $23,500. That's pretty spicy. And a regular Multistrada is expensive, but it's not $23,500 expensive. Now you want to know if it backs it in. We gotta cover that. Hell yeah, you can back it in, because you can adjust all the electronics. So I just flicked it down into Enduro mode, where ABS is off, and you can back it in. Thank you, Ducati. Thank you for doing it right. So yeah, it is a 610-pound, 300-mile range, 8 gallons of gas, spoked wheeled, 85 liters of luggage, heated grips, adjustable suspension. Frickin', what doesn't it do? It's a massive and entertaining and awesome motorcycle. I hope that basically sums it up. Look at it. I love it. It's all splattered with bugs and got dust on it and dirt. I freaking love it. That's how it's supposed to look. That's how an ABV should look. It looks the part, man. It looks mean. Kind of hidden in the saddlebags. Can't see the pipe. Down there somewhere. Anyway, there you have it. Big old multi-enduro. As a commuter, darn good, as long as you've got an inseam to match. And as a motorcycle otherwise, also damn good. Yeah. Alright guys. Hope you enjoyed that ride along on the Multistrada 1200 Enduro. See you on the next time.